Welcome to Demystifying IT with Bhopi Dhall and Saurajit Kanungo, speaking the language of IT with innovators and pioneers that have harnessed the power of information technology.
My guest this week is Robert Atkins, an acclaimed pioneer in gaming and technology. With over 30 years of experience, Robert has helped shape iconic franchises including Quake, Tomb Raider, and Counter-Strike. As CEO of Balance Media Technology, he leads with vision, purpose, and compassion. His work continues to push the boundaries of technology and entertainment through innovative accomplishments. Robert believes in the power of AI and gaming to make a positive impact. Robert, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Pleasure is all mine. Before we get into the amazing work you are doing at The Balanced, what inspired you to pursue a career in gaming and technology?
I guess the way I grew up, I was always encouraged to use my imagination. You know, we grew up in a generation where we didn't have technology. We did not have, smartphones in the palm of our hands. We had to go outside and we had to play. And as a lot of kids, I think we all lean toward, things like storytelling, world building, playing out scenarios that we had read about in history and being able to recreate those somehow, and a lot of times in sandboxes, a literal sandbox, and to be able to turn that creativity into these activities that we could escape into. And so, when the lights went out outside, it got dark outside, we went inside and we had more time, and my time was spent creating art and continuing to do that creative process. So, I was always building things as a kid. And, when game technologies came along and game development came along in the early 90s, it attracted me because I could do the things that I did as a kid now as a profession. And I could build and create and continue to be that artist that I started with. And the great thing about the gaming industry is it's really both an art form and a science. The best part of all, I guess, is that you can play. And I think that is just a core nature for humans, is that we get to play. And so that's why I guess what attracted me to the gaming industry.
Interesting. So creativity into activity, I love that. And then gaming is a combination of both art and science. Love that. What are some of the most important lessons you have learned over the past 30 years in the tech industry?
It comes down to three major things for me that have always been consistently important. It's always about people, products, and partnerships. You really have to always treat the people around you with utmost respect and attract people who think and build and want to get on the bus with you to do something great. And having that clear vision of that product or that technology is really the next thing. And you can have those two things and do great with those two things. But if you don't have strong partnerships, you really don't have a stool. And it's super important. And a partnership could come in many forms. In the gaming industry, partnerships are, a publisher would be an example. Having those three things, people, great product, and partnerships, are absolutely critical. The other thing that the other part of the question was, what's changing, and that's I teach at SMU at the Guild Hall, and I sometimes give talks around this. And one of the things that I do is I break up my talk into 5 years, and I list the 5 things I learn every 5 years, and that's pretty much consistent around any kind of technology-based industry. Is things change every 5 years. So you have to get really comfortable with change, really comfortable with adoption of new methodologies, of new paradigms, and really comfortable, if you're lucky, driving that change. being the one who actually is leading that change, predicting it, seeing the future for it, seeing where the opportunity of that change is needed, and being one of those change makers instead of being an adopter of technology, an adopter of the change. You're the one driving it, and that's really critical for success.
Yeah, I like it. Change is the only constant. That's been one of the themes for me over the years.
I'm still trying to get comfortable with that.
How do you think technology will continue to impact the gaming industry in the next 5 to 10 years?
It's always impacting the industry because it's technology driven, right? So I think you're seeing some really exciting things about gaming, and I think you have to understand a little bit about the industry to really see it for where it's going. Most people don't realize, but if you added up all entertainment industry, like music, film and television and gaming, if that was a pie, and on that pie, gaming would take more than 50% of the entire market. So gaming is absolutely larger than any other form of entertainment. The thing that you're seeing now with gaming, because it's technology driven, you're seeing it to start to really be inundated into other entertainment. Because it's interactive, it allows us to have new experiences that were never before possible. And what I mean by that is, now imagine, when you being inside of the movie, inside of the show, and that's, you can do that from your television, which is still kind of external of you, or you could put a headset on, like VR, and now you're actually sitting there in the room in that horror film, and you're looking around and you don't know where the monster is going to jump out of. And so that is really, I think, super exciting where we're going to go. That, and it's only possible because of technology. The gaming industry continues to add new tools that allow us to have experiences that are, improve cinematography, improve sound, improve that interactive, immersive experience. And that's pushing forward in entertainment. And where I think it really does have the most impact and value is going to be education. Is going to be one of those areas. I do believe, we have in this country at least, we have a slow to adopt education system when it comes to technologies. And that is going to have to improve. We absolutely must continue to put the latest technologies in the hands of our children so that they have the ability to see the future themselves at a much earlier age, and not just be a user of technology, but be an influencer of it. And I think that is absolutely critical for us as a society, as a human race, that we start to really get on top of introduction and adoption of technologies that can impact the lives of young people sooner than later. And that's going to take time, but I do believe the technology is maturing to the point now where we're starting to see that adoption take place a little bit. It just has to happen at the educational level as well.
Awesome. So what are some of the ways you're using technology to make a positive impact on the world?
Yeah, so when I started making games in 93, there were 100 million people playing games worldwide. Now there are 3.4 billion people playing games worldwide. We spend, by the time we're in our early 20s, we've spent over 10,000 hours looking at a screen or playing a game. That's the same amount of time it takes you to become a virtuoso of something. We can keep going down the same path and use these games and interactive experiences as passive entertainment, or we can look at how we can use technology and say, what value can we get out of that same exact gameplay minute? And they're absolutely, and I mentioned it a minute ago, education could be one of those ways, having secondary ways that we introduce educational content into gameplay loops or into interactive experiences. Or you can also use that same exact gameplay minute to do things like train AI and machine learning to solve problems. And that's really what I started Balance with my partners. We had the vision that we wanted to add value back into every minute that a player was playing a game or a person was engaged with the screen to be able to make a positive impact on the world. And that's only possible through technology.
I think I told you before that, my first interaction with you a few weeks ago, I'm starting to change perspective on my three boys playing games all the time. I think I confided to you that I always felt like they're wasting their time, but I'm starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. So especially after talking to you.
Well, it's coming in a positive way, and as a parent, I was also guilty of using screen time as a distractor or a babysitter. I would allow them to have that screen time. I built my son's computers and a game room, and they spent a lot of time in there. And if I had any change, I probably would go back and play more games with them, because we grew up, going outside, and we grew up playing in a sandbox. Our kids are playing in a digital sandbox, and because games are multiplayer and they are the best way to build community, if you think about it, and build relationships, you can go into that digital sandbox with them and play alongside them. And they love that. And that's, if I could speak, if parents hear anything that I have to say, it's I would suggest maybe not just cutting screen time, but also get in there and play with them when there is screen time happening, because that is your way to bond with your kids. And that would be super valuable when it comes to that relationship building.
Really counterintuitive, but I think I could see why it makes sense. What are your thoughts on the potential of AI and gaming to make a positive impact on the society?
That question speaks to the very core of what we're doing at Balance Media Technology. We believe that, AI is the future. AI is going to impact society. It has been for decades already. It's going to continue to be expedited at a ever increasing rate. And because gaming is so prevalent in our society as well, those two things need to be bridged. And that's where our technology, the human platform, lies, is between the interactive experience, interactive gaming, and then also the training of AI. And AI needs humans, and humans need to extract value from it. And so we want to put humans in the loop when it comes to how the AI is trained, how the AI is deployed, what types of problems we're going to take on. And that was really when we started Balance. We were we want to work on problems that impact the world, problems that are going to move the needle when it comes to making humanity better. And there, very few of those things really are beyond borders, or, our environment is beyond borders, right? Healthcare is beyond borders. Access to healthy food is beyond borders. Government efficiency is something that everyone needs. Those are types of problems that when gamers are playing games, they can be helping work on problems that they care about. And how they're going to do that is they're going to play a game while they're working on a game that has environmental scenarios. Instead of just playing a game where you're playing an environmental scenario, we can put AI, data, machine learning into that gameplay loop. So you're playing a game about environmental impact, and you're actually training an AI that is directly connected to that environmental problem that you're simulating in a game. So the gamer is actually contributing to that impact of environmental research, environmental studies, the industries that are connected to helping resiliency of the change that's happening in the climate. And so that we're actually putting humans through interactive experiences right into the AI loop allowing the minute of gameplay now to make an impact by training AI or cleaning data to be more efficient, so that the gameplay minute that they're experiencing is now no longer just passive entertainment or an escape from reality. The gamer's actually helping create a better one.
Wow. That is such a far-fetching idea. Makes sense. What advice would you give to young people who are interested in a career in gaming and technology?
What's great about what I was just explaining about how AI can be used with gaming is gamers care. Gamers are givers. Gamers are people who excuse my French, give a shit, and they're often playing because that's their escape. They feel powerless, and they feel like they can't make a difference because they're just one person, and that's not true. And that's a paradigm we need to break. We need to get out of that paradigm that they do have power. They can make impact, and they are important. And so if you have technologies interlaced into the things that they love doing, playing video games, now they can be a change maker by doing the thing that they love. And more so to your question that you just asked about, how can they, what kind of advice or how can we help young people who are interested in this? Now more than ever, do we have access to game tools. That's another great thing about the gaming industry is we have developed tools and given those tools to what we call mod communities, given those tools to young people out there. And all you have to do is, if you have access to a computer or access to any kind of device that can run those tools, you can download them and you can start to develop your ideas, develop your thoughts within the same tools that the professionals are using. And you are also then connecting to the community. Remember the people part, you're connecting to. So you're connecting to others who may think like you, and you can start to develop. And you see things like Roblox is a great example. It was a kids game that they built an entire ecosystem around tool development that allows people, content creators, to create new content. And so if I'm a 10-year-old who wants to know I want to make video games, well, you can get into Roblox, or you can go work and, download the tools in Minecraft. There's editors out there that allow you to be able to develop. Unreal is making part of their entire business model around the Fortnite editor now. And so there's so much access now more than ever. And the professionals who work in this industry have really refined these tools to be accessible and usable and empower people. So you have the two things there. You have this love of gaming and you have the tools that are there. And if you have the initiative to be able to take both of those things and apply them, it's limitless to what can be created, and it's only limited by your imagination.
What are some of the biggest challenges facing the gaming industry today, and how can we overcome them?
There's a few that come to mind. But one is innovation of design. I think you see a lot of, once something works, once something is like, that's the formula now, everybody jumps on that and and beats that one design concept to death. And people get burnt out. The other thing that's happening is, and this is to me one of the biggest problems is consolidation. You see a lot of developers are getting absorbed by large publishers, and the consolidation of talent, consolidation of intellectual property, the consolidation of technology it creates so many issues, and it's never good for the public. It's never good for the end user, and ultimately it leads to less creativity momentarily. What ends up happening from there is you get rogue developers who are like, you know what? If I wanted to work for Microsoft, I would have gone to work for Microsoft. I don't want to work for them and so I'm going to leave and start my own studio. And thank God we have the ability for digital distribution, direct to consumer product channels. So they go off and they do their own thing. The problem with that becomes then there's just so much content out there that's like, how do you rise above the noise? I think you're looking at a lot of paradigms that come from the absorption of talent, which raises the price of development, and it creates the need to monetize. And the model for monetization are very limited, and they're not creative enough to figure out new ways to monetize. So right now in our industry, it's, you sell direct, you can sell your product, you can have in-app purchases. And the third thing where a lot of mobile developers make their money is ads. So what you're seeing companies that in their entire business model, their entire design philosophy is about how can I maximize the number of ads that I serve you up with this engagement. Absolutely astonishing that we have allowed that to be a primary monetization vehicle. And that is another, I think, great use case for crowdsourcing AI and machine learning. And one of the things that when we started Balance was we looked at that as one of the pillars is how can we create a new revenue vertical on our industry that does not just extract wealth from our community and our players, but extracts wealth from other industries that have the resources and the need that the gamers can bring. And so our business is about a new revenue stream for developers, content creators. And there's more money, say, in pharmaceutical or environmental protection than there is in the gaming space. Those industries need AI, machine learning, and data processing. Why not let the gamers be part of that solution? And now you have a new revenue stream for developers so that you're not so reliant on the same model and the same three ways of generating revenue. And so there can be a paradigm shift, or there can be unlocking of new ways of doing business that will hopefully allow smaller developers to maintain their independence so that consolidation doesn't gobble up all the great talent, all the great IP, and you're now able to continue to service your customers, your players with that and not be limited by how you generate revenue.
Thank you. I never thought that innovation and consolidation would be such a big challenge to the industry. I appreciate you sharing that. Coming up next, stay tuned for part 2 of my conversation with Robert. We'll learn about how his ingenious CTO was named Inventor of the Year by the U.S. Patent Office for his pioneering work.
Being able to, not just do research for research's sake, but actually take that research and make a difference in the world because it's applied was really at the heart of what Corey and the team has continually been doing. So it's not just a patent for patent's sake, it's actually a patent around a concept to be able to then unlock more potential for empowering humanity.
This has been Demystifying IT with Bhopi Dhall and Saurajit Kanungo. Connect with Bhopi and Saurajit at demystifyingit.com, where you can take a quick assessment to explore the opportunities you may be leaving on the table and learn to expand your market or create a new one by building your business foundations on technology. Demystifying IT is a production of Forbes Books.